Hello everyone, my name is Long and I've been posting a bunch of videos about my Warbringer Shockwave totem, and some people have been asking me about me making a proper guide about this build, but to be honest with you, I'm too lazy for that. You probably will not have any mobilitics link or any POE sort of stuff, but I guess it doesn't hurt for me to talk about my way of thinking when I'm building my character around the mechanic of Shockwave Totem, how to start from scratch and how to scale all the way to the end game, those sort of things, right? So let's go straight to the point. The mechanic of Shockwave Totem is very simple. In the trailer of JGG, right, is you will see one warrior self-attacking Earhquake, leaving the Jagged Ground for a couple of seconds, and then he casted a Shockwave Totem next to it. A Shockwave Totem is going to do a slam, and then that slam will trigger the Jagged Ground and causes an aftershock, right, which is double the damage for the slam. And the cool thing is that the Jagged Ground after the aftershock will not go away, right? So this is the core idea of the build, and I believe the GG wants us to notice that as well, right? But the problem is that it's very it's a little bit clunky, right? You have two buttons to do. You cast EQ and then you cast Shockwave Totem, and for lazy people like me, I don't really quite get it. And then also there's another problem with this, is it's very hard to scale, right? Because for self-attacking, you will need your own weapon to be very strong, right? Physical attack percentage and then physical flat. But for Shockwave Totem, it only uses its own weapon, right? What does it mean by it uses its own weapon? Which means that this one scale by the gem level, right? So if you look here in a POE at 2 dB, you can see that from level 1 to level 40, I believe it can go all the way past level 40. Some people already went all the way to 42 or something, right? And it's scaled very hard, even at the high end, right? So for example, if you have the gem level of 35 over here, the slam after that 5 gem level is going to be almost double the damage, right? So the way to scale this one is just using a bunch of gem levels in your gear, right? And gem levels that I'm talking about right here is this one, right? Level of own melee skills, right? So you're gonna using those tags, right? Either level of own melee skills or level own skills, right? I believe there's going to be a bunch of uniques can have that too, right? For example, one of the unique helmet also have +1 to level all skills, right? So back to the mechanic and how to scale it. As I said, that another way to easy to scale the Shockwave Totem is that based on gem level, right? So the idea is, another idea is to have Shockwave Totem in one skill, and the other one is using Ancestral Warrior Totem, right? Ancestral Warrior Totem is going to be casting the Earhquake for you, and then Shockwave Totem will be standing next to it and up for the Jagged Ground to proc, right? And the POE one way of thing is that you're gonna have the Shockwave Totem with all of the bunch of supporting skill, normal supporting skill over here, but then for the Ancestral Warrior Totem, you're gonna have like +1 for the limit, and so if you have a limit of 4 Shockwave Totem in my build, for example, you cast 1, 2, 3, 4, right, and then you cast 1 Ancestral Warrior on top of it, right? So you see 4 Shockwave Totem in 1 Ancestral Warrior, and with that overabundance support skill, you can have like 5 of them at the same time, and that's the way of this combo works, right? But for me, I still do not like it this much, right? It's still 2 buttons, right? And then I was thinking that maybe I would just go a little bit more lazy, lazier, going to Shockwave Totem and plus Jagged Ground support. Right, so the Jagged Ground support has is this one. supporter skill have 50% chance to create Jagged Ground, right? So it's exactly the version of Earthquake, a much weaker version of the Jagged Ground, right? By saying that, if you click on the damage over here, this is actually one of the users, or one of the viewers in my previous video actually showed it to me to view this one. So you click on slam, you can see that the slam damage, right, is ranging from 12,000 to 19,000, right? So it's around like 15,500 or something, right, average. But then this one right here is only about the Jagged Ground eruption is only about like 3,200 or something, right? So or 4, yeah, my math is off, but anyway, it's actually only about a quarter of the damage from the slam from the totem, right? So the Jagged Ground in the aftershock created by this supporter skill only is about a quarter damage of the aftershock, of the original aftershock, and it's only 50% chance to create it when one of your totem attack or slam. So why am I using this, right? Because this looks like a very weak supporter skill. So my way of thinking is that with enough AoE, right, if you create one Shockwave totem, it casts, and it will trigger the Jagged Ground. Get another one, it creates a Jagged Ground of its own. Create another one, right? So 4 of this will create Jagged Ground of its own. So you can have like 4 of them at the same time, and with enough AoE, one slam will trigger all 4 of them, right? So that's overlapping the damage, and is very good damage for bossing. So that's the reason why I chose this Jagged Ground for the aftershock effect, even though in terms of number it's much weaker than, like, for example, like heavy swing or something, right? So that's for the mechanic. The second thing I want to talk about is about the scaling, right? So aside from level of melee skill, what can we do, and so those sort of things, right? But let's say the first priority is going to be the level of melee skill. So what can we do? The melee skill is going to be going up to +7 on a two-handed Great Hammer, two-handed mace, right? So the idea is to wield this in one hand using Giant Blood, right? Giant Blood is this one, Giant's Blood right here, that you can wield two-hand axes, maces, and sword in one hand, right? But only maces have the melee on skill level. So if you go into trade, you just search for two-handed maces in +6 or +7, depends on the budget, melee skills, right? But then it also has a line of triple attribute requirements for weapon, right? So you're gonna need to prepare your strength enough to wear this one, right? But we can talk about the strength issue later, but that's basically it, right? So you want 7 melee skills over here. You can wear another one on the offhand. But for me, I'm using the Hrimnor hymns over here. Hrimnor's hymn. Hopefully that I pronounced it correctly, right? But it says a slam skill and you use yourself costs aftershock. I believe that, I'm not sure if this is intended, but right now it works with totem as well. A bunch of people already talk about this, right? So the reason why I use this instead of the second +7 is because if you look back in this one, you can see that not only at a higher gem level it scales damage, but also scale the cost, mana cost, right? So well, actually, so when I say when I compare the damage early on, I was looking at the mana cost, right? But still, you can see damage is double from 35 to 40, and also the mana cost is going to be also double, right? 1,300 mana for one cast, and for me, even though I have like quite good gear, you see that my mana pool is only around 1,000 or something, right? So without some trickery, we were never able to get one cast done. Right. So that's also the reason why I used Hrimnor hymns over here. That in fact the damage actually much less compared to the 1+7, but it also -7 gem levels means minus a bunch of mana costs, right? So this is a very cheap way and very easy to sustain your mana by using 1+7, and the other one is using Hrimnor hymn, right? So other people would use double +7 if they can solve the mana cost, right? Or just going all the way to blood magic and completely ignore the mana stuff, which is a cool way, right? But this is Warbringer. This is not Titan. You will not be able to regen a lot to use blood magic, so don't try it. Right, then you're gonna be having 2 level or all melee skills in gloves, and then you also, I believe, is gonna be +3 to all melee skills on the amulet. Right, so those sort of things is what you should aim for when you try to build the characters. Just melee skills or own skills. Right, so the second thing that you need to focus on, other than just the skill, the gem levels of the totem, is the accuracy, right? For example, if you can see here, if I just, no, I cannot do it right now because I'm lacking a bunch of attribute, but you can try it yourself, right? But if you just, for example, if I take off the precision, just 30% increase accuracy rating while support skill is active, right? Imagine this is just 30% increase accuracy rating. You can see that the Shockwave totem gone down in number, right? Almost like 1,000. Let me check. 15, 300. Okay, let's put this back in. All right, 16. Yeah, so well, now quite a bit, right? So if you don't have enough accuracy, you will not hit, right? We don't want to miss any attack. So accuracy for all of the attack based build is very important. So you either have to have accuracy rating in your gear, like for example, like me having this one in my ring and going precision in one of the aura, or you can just simply go here to catch the RT, Resolute Technique, and your hits cannot be evaded, but you can never deal critical hits, right? So those 2 types of way to have the 100% accuracy, right? Either RT over here or non-RT. Just get some accuracy in your gear. So I would not try to go to this squill to get the accuracy, because it's wasting a bunch of points, to be honest with you. So I'll try not to. And then the next one, after you solve the accuracy, is going to be the area of effect, right? So actually for single target you don't need much area of effect, but for the build to feel good, in one of the previous videos you can see that in any Shockwave totem build, you can see that it explodes like a whole screen, right? So one over here, one over here, one over here, Jagged Ground, aftershock, and it's just create a bunch of explosion, right? So in your tree, that's the reason why you can see that I've very much favor the area of effect, right? So I go all this way to get this full area effect node, also go this route to get another area effect, right? And then I believe there's 2 more over here, also area effect, right? This node here is also very strong for if you use the hymn, which is the unique maze over here, right? It increased 40% increase aftershock area effect, right? So it's super strong. But for me, I think I already have enough area effect, so that's why I chose not to go there. But when I have a bunch of redundant points, I definitely wouldn't spend my 4 or 5 points would go here. Right? And then the last one to scale the damage of the Shockwave totem is going to be the attack speed, right? So attack speed is super important, right? So that's why you can see that I very much favor this wheel over here for the increased attack speed. This one right here, initiative, is also super strong, right? 16% increased attack speed if you haven't attacked recently. You never attack in the totem build, so this 60% is going to be always there, right? Also in your gloves, that's why along with the level of own melee skills, you should look for the increased attack speed suffix as well, right? So a pair of gloves like this is very much costly, right? So you have high life, you have level all melee skills up 2, and then you have like increased attack speed almost maximum, I believe. But try to get it, melee skills and attack speed in the pair of gloves, right? And then in the amulet, there's one very strong anointment, if you're familiar with the term in POE 1, but also I think it's called distill. Where basically you use the distill or the oil that's dropped from delirium, and allocate the deep trance, right? So this, I believe this is the best note for this attack base Shockwave totem stuff, right? So it increases attack speed, which is very nice, and reduce cost of skill, right? It reduces both mana cost and health cost, right? If you have to convert the mana cost into health cost using these two wheels over here, right? So it's a very strong one. So that's that. That's the 4 thing that you need to look for when you scale your damage. So let's solve the other issues for the build, right? The first thing is that if you want to use double two-handers, you're gonna need you're gonna be facing strength issue for Giant's Blood, right? Which is run right here, right? So this node is very strong, right? 12 strength each with the cost of reduced maximum mana. So you can see that almost all of my gear, I try to have like maximum mana along with maximum life, right? Not going to be ideal for those who wants to stack rarity, but I hate rarity in this type of game, so I will not go into that route. I'm not going to be FOMOing. Yeah. And if you do not have enough strength, don't go into this route like me to get a bunch of AoE effect. Just go into attribute nodes, and one of the very strong route right here is that go to this square. If you don't notice it, it's all 8 strength each, right, instead of 5. And then if you go here, you would have like 15 strength for just one single node, right? So it's very good. And what you can look for is that a very another will to take if you go a Resolute Technique is this one, right? 5 strength, and then 3 increased maximum life. There's very strong nodes. This 3, right? Mix of strength and maximum life. But then also, if you want to fix it, and there's actually a very easy way to fix the strength requirement, is that getting an against the darkness, right? I believe this this jewel is dropped from Sanctum, right? Everybody hates Sanctum, so this might be costly a little bit, but I believe this one right here you look at is the best in slot for this one. You have minor node having increased maximum life in notable increased strength, right? But you don't have to have both of this. You probably just need to have the notable passive skill in radius also grant 4% increased strength, and then you grab all of this strength or notables, and you're gonna get a bunch of increase in percentage of strength, right? And the reason why I favor this node is because you can see right here Actually, all of these are very good notes, right? Increased stun threshold, elemental ailment threshold. You have stun build-up, right? You have 112 increased damage with hits against enemies that's on low life. So low life is, I believe, is just lower than 50%. So most of the bosses is going to be having their very dangerous phase after 50% of their HP bar, right? So burst them fast enough, it's going to be very good in this game. So that's why I really like these 3 notes right here. Increased damage with hits against enemies that are on low life, right? So, right, and then a bunch of totem notes right here is a no-brainer, right? Regeneration for your own, maximum totem attack speed per summon totem, right? And then enemies in Jagged Ground you create to take 10% increased damage, right? And this one as well. We'll talk about the bleeding later, but this is just some good to have stuff that you can add in for a small increase of DPS, right? And then another source of increased strength, obviously, that you have to go all the way over here into this 10% increased attribute, right? And I don't have to take the 3 notes after that, but it's also very strong if you are struggling with the strength requirement. It's going to reduce a total of 12% attribute requirements. Another way to solve it is go here in the black market and search for soul core. Right, you will see this one, so-called of Charlotte in Zanti P. Anyway, if you look at this, you can see if it's slot in weapon, which is the 2 handers that we're talking about, is convert 20% of requirement to dexterity, or convert 20% of requirements to intelligence, right? So you can suck at each of them and chance convert 20% into dex, convert 20% into intelligence, and make it way easier to wear it, right? So that's another way of solving the strength requirement issue. Okay, so next one is gonna be mana issue. Well, we touch into this topic a little bit, but I want to go deeper in detail, right? The first thing that many people ask me about the ascendancy choice. The reason why I chose Warbringer, because in the first glance is all about totem. It looks like it's a very good totem ascendancy. Right? As you can look here, it has 20% damage reduction from totem lives before you, right? And then Ancestral Spirit, a bunch of them will create like a mid shield, blocking a lot of projectiles if you're not really aware of this node. And one of the one of the spirit can actually occasionally cast like 10% increased skill speed for you. So it's something that's good to have. I would not say this is like a very good node, but it's still better than nothing to get to the 20% damage reduction over here from hit, right? And then the Armvin's weight, break armor equal to 10% of hit damage deal. This definitely work with totem. So you would not have to get all of the any points you're getting break armor over here, right? Absolutely, you do not need to grab any of them. Not this node increase armor break duration. They already increased the original default armor break duration from 6 seconds to 12 seconds, so that's more than enough, right? This one is strong, but I don't want to get spend some point in here. Actually, now read this one is pretty strong. Okay, you might take this one. Just go here for if you have enough points. Right, and I would recommend not to go into you can break enemy armor to below 0 for the imploding impacts, right? I believe there's a bunch of Warbringer users having, I believe it's Wally, in another YouTuber already did a bunch of math around this and didn't notice the damage increase when you have like negative armor in the enemy. And so I switched the build into having the Jade Heritage a little bit. It doesn't say here, but if you never used Jade Heritage before, it's actually very comfy using in map. Right, as you can see here, if every seconds I'm gonna have a 10 stack of Jade, and it's grant 1% additional physical damage reduction per stack. Right, so I'm now wearing. So you click on armor over here. You can see that my armor is just 700, right? But then my additional physical damage reduction is 10%, right? Where when you get hit, one stack of Jade is going to be lost, right? But it stacks up real quick. And the reason why I having a very much a very low armor over here because I'm using Cloak of Flame. I will talk about this one later about physical damage reduction. But that's my choice on the Ascendancy. If you have not picked the Ascendancy, I would say that go straight to Titan, because right now I think it's much better in terms of solving the strength requirement because of it has a 50% increase the small nodes, right? And also it will increase all of the small nodes over here for the AoE effect, right? So AoE in regen as well, right? So very strong. So if you want to go into blood magic and doesn't care about mana stuff in your gear, you just go straight up Titan, grab blood magic and grab a bunch of AoE and regen, and you will be able to sustain it. Any Titan user would do that, right? So, but if you happen to already pick the Ascendancy of Warbringer and you're stuck with me, I believe this is the best note that you can take. So for Warbringer, how do we handle the issue of the mana, right? So you grab this skill over here, reduce mana cost of attack, and skill mana cost convert to life cost, right? You have the deep trance that I talk about for the anointment, and then in the jewelry, actually very strong. You can search for this one, like maximum of 8% of skill mana cost convert to life cost, right? So search for something up like this, and then you can add a bunch of other very strong stuff for totem builds, like totem placement speed, totem damage, stun build up melee damage, right? Those sort of jewel, right? And then talk about the second one is about the another two-hander of the 7 gem levels versus the Hrimnor's hymn, right? Straight up lack damage for the hymn. This unique maze right here, a little bit less damage, but basically, well, what you see here in this Shockwave totem, the DPS of 16,000, you should double this one if you're using Hrimnor's hymn, because basically every slam skill you use yourself will cause the aftershocks right after that, right? So just one cast is gonna slam one, but then it instantly proc another aftershock, right? So it's a double attack from what I understand, right? So a little bit lacking in terms of damage compared to the 7+7 gem levels, but much less mana to worry about. Another one is the +3 melee skill level amulet versus the idol of Uldurn. This one right here. So I believe the best in slot is this one, even though you can see that it doesn't really have any meaningful except for the maximum life. But it has skill have +1 to limit, right? And then you can look for some corrupted of +1 level to on skill. So save you 3 levels to grow to care less about the mana cost of skill. Actually +2 if you have this corruption like me. But then instead of 3 totems, you're gonna have you will be able to cast 4, right? So you'll be able to spam this. Resolute Technique versus non-RT. If you don't want to worry about accuracy in your gear, just go straight up Resolute Technique, which is this one. Again, I have to show it. It's this one right here. And then you have a bunch of other good notes around it, like this unbending for 3 maximum life. You have another skin effect duration if you want to go to that route, and then another slot of jewel. Very good one, right? So, and then even if you want to spend some more point, that you can go into this Ancestral alacrity for another bunch of totem placement speed and attack speed as well. Right, but if you somehow get enough accuracy, I would say that the best thing to not having to use RT is that you can actually deal critical hits. And so the critical hits is right here is that you can use Sunder, right? So the way Sunder hits is that it when does critical damage on broken armor enemies, right? So you just hit a bunch of Shockwave totems and then cast one Ancestral warrior. So it casts Sunder. It consumes all of the fully broken armor into a critical hit. I combo it with 50% chance to inflict bleeding, even though we don't have like perfect agony or something, but and if you don't know, any critical hits when have like an inheritance, inherit 50% more damage for ailment. So once a while, if I hit if I combo this with Fist of War and halved, right? All I want this Ancestral Warrior Totem is just to hit a big one, create a bleeding effect, and so after that, just having 20% chance to aggravate it, which is like triple the damage for bleeding by using all the Shockwave totem slamming next to it, right? So it's just a small increase of DPS. Skill effect or not, right? So right now, as you can see, both of the will increase effect over here or here. I'm not using any of them, and the totem is the last thing. I believe is let me check. So it's 12 seconds, so it's more than enough, right? And in mapping, you will see that you have to recast a lot, right? So if you have enough mana cost reduction, you should spam the as many totems as possible, because it's going to be much efficient that way. You move, you cast, right? You cannot just cast and then wait for it to attack, right? It's just too slow. But really, if you have like a big chunk of mana to cast one totem, definitely you need to have your totem last as long as possible. So definitely take those well if you somehow feel your mana cost is too high, right? So that's one thing. And the defense issue was next after res cap, right? So you can see, obviously you want to res cap, fire, cold lightning, chaos. You probably have to care less. Trust me, they already nerfed the purple thingy, so you don't need to cap 70% anymore. Just it's best if you can cap, right? But if you don't, it's not much a big deal. I have enough just to survive. But the thing that I worry the most in the end game is actually physical damage mitigation, right? So if you watch, I believe it's Crip making a video, and there's a thread in Reddit talking about how bad armor is in the end game. You can tank a lot of big small hits, but big hits you can never take one. And so even though I have I can consider this is a very good chest piece, right? 2200 armor, and then a bunch of life, a bunch of resistance. But then I switch. Sure. Like what?
Chest of stairs.
Sure. She wants me to come?
No, only
Okay, yeah, you go up ahead. I'll just finish this one and then I go up with you. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Sorry, there goes my kid. So back here to mitigate the physical reduction, to mitigate physical damage issue, I actually use Cloak of Flame. What you should look for is not any meaningful implicit, but the most important lies is the physical damage taken as fire damage, right? I believe it can go up to 49. I never seen any go up to 50, but this is basically like almost as good as the lightning coil version in POE 1, right? So you have 50% of physical damage taken as fire damage over here, and then with Jade, 10 stack of Jade, you also have another 10, right? So I believe this is a very good source of physical mitigation. If you still go the armor route, remember that you need to take this route. You need to take this 4 nodes over here, increase armor, and then 50% of armor also applied to fire damage taken from hits, right? Right now I barely have any armor, so I do not take these nodes. And the last thing I want to talk about is the gear fixes to look for and best in slot discussion, right? So let's go one by one. I want to go fast, and skill effect in this throw steel helmet is super good for me. There's no other source of onslaught except for the death thrust ring, which is on kill effect in this game. So this is actually much rarer compared to POE 1, right? This is actually a trash piece in POE 1, but I believe even the a good piece of throw steel, which is having an implicit of 2% life regen or something, is costing like 10 divines, right? So it's crazy how onslaught can change a lot in this game, right? So I'm having a 30% movement speed, having that onslaught effect, and then I go up to now 40% movement speed. This is pretty good when you go in map, right? I would just want to blast map real quick, right? So this one for me is the best in slot. Second unit to talk about is Uldurn. It's level all skills. When they introduce tainted oil, I will annoy deep trance into this to have a skin cost reduction in attack speed, right? But right now I'm going to leave with this one. For the +7 gem levels maces, obviously if you can solve the strength requirement, as we mentioned about using a bunch of soul cores or stacking strength, the only other stuff that you need to look for is the plus strength in suffix, right? So the more plus strength here is obviously much better. You have more strength, you have more HP, so that's the only thing that you need to look for. +7 to all melee skills and additional strength along with the strength requirements, right? And for the runes, right, I just want to have to clarify a little bit. There are only 2 runes that actually matter in the weapons for this build. The first one is that the increased stun build up. It's a very cheap rune. All of the others, like chance to bleed, attack speed, physical damage, right? It only applies locally to the weapon itself, right? So we are not using. Remember, the Shockwave totem does not use this weapon, right? So any local stats will not be affecting our Shockwave totem, right? So the only 2 runes that you can socket in is 50% of 25% increased stun build up. It's very safe when you go map, right? And then you can also go here and search for a soul core. It's actually pretty much very costly. Is the soul core of Azkaban, which is 15 to spirit. So having 2 of them, actually you can have more room to run vitality, clarity, or the one that has like 30% more live flash effect, right? So those are some options that you need to do, that you can do for the runes. Only 2 of them, right? Plus 15 spirit or 25% increased stun build-up. Offhand, I would recommend use him if you are a Warbringer, right? If you're a Titan, just get another 7, plus 7, and dual wield it. Super strong damage. For rings, usual stuff: life, mana. Best in slot, it actually can be either rarity if you want to FOMO with all of the dead eyes farming bridge right now, or you can, if you want your character to be strong, you can go like some ring like this one. So adds physical damage to attacks, right? This one actually adds to the base damage of the Shockwave totem. So after all the multipliers, it still increase a bunch of damage for you. I would say not really that big of a deal, but this one right here is still a very good source of additional damage. So life, mana, accuracy, adding physical to attacks for prefixes, and then suffixes obviously is enough for you to res cap, 5 cold lightning chaos resist. The only reason why I have to wear a piece of 30 to intelligence right here is because this pair of gloves that I wearing, asking 62 intelligence. Right, so if you can have like a full strength or armor pair of gloves, you can switch this intelligence to something else, right? So for example, another very strong suffix that for Warbringer is going to be the increased mana regeneration rate, right? The reason why we want this one is because sometimes we don't want to be relying on mana flags, right? In some pinnacle boss, you might run out of this flag. So you see, I have one ring right here having 61 increased mana regeneration rate. Actually, it's a little bit higher because I'm using ingenuity as well. But as you can see, 1 cat, 2 cats, 3 cats, 4 cats. I'm still regening mana, and my mana regen right now is at 92, right? Just almost 100, right? And I only have like 800 mana in my pool, so it's pretty much a very good mana regen source. Sorry for that. And I said Clock of Flame for 2 soul and physical damage mitigation issue. Pair of gloves, live mana, add physical to attacks, rarity for prefixes, and then all melee skills and increased attack speed for suffixes are the must-have, right? Belt, if you're not, for example, this, I believe this is a best in slot for almost any build, and that's the reason why I farm a lot of rituals for this one. But before that, you just get any belt with resistance and life and mana, right? So those sort of things. You don't care about much of charm slot, to be honest with you. How build does not really it depends on the charm slot. If you do have it, that's fine. It's going to solve a lot of ailment immunity, like when you become frozen, you become shocked, or you become ignited, right? So this is good to have 2 charm slot, but other than that, just focus on res cap and life. Movement speed, 30%, 35% movement speed is a must-have. Then goes life, it goes mana, fire resistant, cold resistant, all sort of things, right? So rest. And then in the jewels, I only use 2 kinds of jewels. The first one is the Against the Darkness. I believe this is the best in slot for us and also for the Titans. Maximum life, increased strength, and then you can combo the other 3 jewel slot for the Grand Spectrum Ruby. So 2% increased maximum life per subcategory Grand Spectrum, right? So you use 3 of this, So that means each of this going to provide 6% increased maximum life. In a total of 3, you're going to have 18% increased maximum life. This is very strong. Right, so I think that's about it, right? And in terms of like play style, you probably have watched some of my videos before. You just move your mouse over as far as possible, right? And then you just wait for all of this to explode. I know the on-death effects for all of the monster right now is super retarded, but we just have to deal with it. Yep. And then for leveling, just have some notes that early levels is we're going to be struggling a lot because we do not have any melee skill level, and you also do not have like extra totems until you get on the wheels at the bottom of the tree. But May Strike will get you through Gernor, the first boss in Act 1. And then when you get to 1 to extra totem, you should look for some hymn, which is the unique maze and the unique amulet Uldurn. And also do not use overabundance in boss fight because it cuts the skill effect duration of your totem in half, and you're gonna be having a bunch of mana issue by having to recast totem a lot early in the campaign phase. But just after each level in campaign, just go to shop and search for the melee skills and grab all of them one-handed maze that have +1 to melee skill, and then after that you can totally rely on the Shockwave totem. Right, but I think that's the first time that I talk this lot. Thank you very much for listening, and hopefully this can help. Just drop me any comments if you want to ask any more about the builds. Thank you very much.